Hey everyone, Selena here, founder, host, lead educator with the American Crochet Association. I'm also the writer behind Selena Bacher Crochet, so I often write crochet patterns that I share with the American Crochet Association, and this is one of them. So I don't just like to share free crochet patterns just to share free crochet patterns. Every single pattern that I specifically choose to share with the American Crochet Association has some kind of learning objectives, some kind of teaching tools. And so I really take a lot of time to not just post the instructions that you can view for free on our website, but I also like to just interlink a lot of learning objectives. So if you are watching, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from, whether you're here live or on the replay. It's the same great jam. And as soon as I see you, I'll give you a shout out, like to my friend Stacy Till. Hey Stacy, so good to see you. Happy Friday. Looks like Ashley Johnson is here. Thanks so much for checking in. I appreciate it. So I do just want to pause right here to say that this is not a step-by-step video tutorial. So if you are expecting me to show you every single thing that you need to do to make this exact pattern, this is not it. What I like to do is just help crocheters to build their knowledge and build their skill. And that way, not only can they read and follow crochet pattern instructions to complete this Jade Crochet Sun Hat, but hopefully they can move on and crochet anything that they want. And I'm not going to be your crutch. I'm not going to be it. I will be your teacher. I will be your learning tool, but I will not be your crutch. So if you're looking for that pattern, you just want to get straight to it, just click on the link in the video description and it'll take you right to it. Now, something that I have done with this pattern, the Jade Crochet Sun Hat pattern in 4 different sizes, this is not a brand new pattern. It's been around for years and years and years. Actually, when I first wrote it, I think back in 2015, I don't know, I'd have to double check. It actually made the front cover of a crochet magazine. I was so proud. Yes, that is my face, that is my hair, that is my outfit on the front cover of a magazine. I was so excited to see that. So it's just such a great pattern this time of year, I think. Like, we're not yet into spring. It's not really warm outside. I'm still wearing, sweaters and stuff like that, but I'm gearing up. Like, we're still, like, every 10 days we get a 70-degree day. So I'm ready. I'm ready for sun hat season. So anyway, I thought I would update this pattern, just update the format of this pattern. So if you have followed this pattern in the past, gosh, years, it's still the same great jam. I don't have any updates in terms of the instructions. So really, this is just about updating the format so that you guys can quickly and easily find information here. So the first thing you're going to see is just a quick introduction. A table of contents is something that I'm adding to all of the patterns on our website. And again, this is just a way for you to quickly and easily find everything that you need to find. So if you would rather just bookmark this page and come back to it anytime you need the instructions, you can totally do that. But if you just want to purchase a PDF on Ravelry, and that way you can save, print, download without all this extra stuff, the link is right there. Here are all those resources that I was telling you guys about. I'm just going to kind of drift through them. And then everything you need to know and have and do to make this crochet sun hat, and then it gets into the instructions, and I have each one of the sizes listed out individually. So let's just kind of scroll on down and let's see. Something that I love sharing, I think this is such an important tool, is first and foremost, I want you guys to see that other people have worked up this pattern. I worked really hard to have professional pictures taken, but I don't want you guys to be fooled by that and be like, are the people making this? What does it really look like on actual people? So you guys can see that. That's one of the main things I love about Ravelry is you can see just a collective of, are other people making this? What does it look like? All that kind of stuff. So again, this pattern is years old, so we have lots of different examples. So you can see it on different people, different hairstyles. I know that's really important. I've had long hair, I've had short hair. So you can see it on different hairstyles. You can see different colors. You can see slightly different yarn weights, definitely different fibers. Not everyone has used cotton just like I have. So there's lots of different examples that you guys can kind of pull from. That's going to be extremely helpful if you want to see like, what are some other yarns people have used? I wrote this pattern with Lion Brand Yarn 24/7 cotton, and that yarn was used more than any others that we've seen so far. But other yarns that people have used have been Lily Sugar and Cream, Red Heart with Love Metallics, so even acrylics have been used for this. So if you want more of like a fall winter hat, you know, you can use something like that. Ultra Pima, which is another cotton, something that might be bamboo. Here's a fisherman wool. So again, you don't just have to use cotton for this to be like a warm weather sun hat. You can use another yarn, whether it be wool or acrylic or something like that, something that's going to be warm and really kind of hold the heat in if you want it to be a cold weather hat. So definitely lots of examples to check out there. All right, before I move on, I've got plenty more shout outs to give. Ashley, no problem. I'm home all day. I'm so glad you checked in then. Thank you so much. Diana is here. Hello to you. Beverly is checking in from Texas. Stacy says, I love using Ravelry. It is great to see other colors and styles. Absolutely. I love to see what yarns people are working up, what yarns they're using. You know, maybe they do something different or new or interesting that I wouldn't have thought to do. Like I just saw this one project down here, this blue one, and they kind of intermixed in like a tying mechanism just to like kind of tie it into place and also just, you know, give it a little bit of an extra embellishment. So cute. But I also see so many different color applications. Like I would have never thought to make this like striped. And where do you put the stripe? Like this kind of, I want to call this like a watermelon style down here. I would have never thought to put a white stripe like in this magenta right here. You can also just, you know, put a different color on the border like this one did right here. So, I mean, really, look at this one. Here's a self-striping yarn. It's a variegated yarn, and you can see how those colors pool together to make a completely like new and different and interesting fabric. So lots of different examples in terms of like color application, variegated yarn, self-striping yarn, all that kind of stuff. So can be fun to see, can be really inspiring. Okay, so yarns. So not only do we have links to find those other projects that were finished, links to find other yarns people have used and what they look like, I also have lots of information on how to measure your crochet sun hat. Raise your hand if you've ever made a hat that was way too big. Or tell me in the comments. I can't see your hand. Raise your hand as you're typing in the comments. Type in the comments. Let me know if you've ever made a crochet hat that was way too small. Yeah, everyone, right? We've either made things that are way too big or way too small. Even if you're using the exact same yarn, the same weight, the same hook that the pattern recommends, even if you feel like you're following the instructions exactly, sometimes this can happen. So it can make people not want to try hats. It can make people not want to try things that are measured. It can make people not want to substitute yarn. So I have a calculator with some tips that will help you measure as you go. And that way you don't have to create an entire hat before you're like, well, that's way too big. Well, that's way too small. I have an entire really simplistic system that just helps you to understand what to measure, where to measure, how to measure with pictures. And that way you can make crochet hats that fit, and you know that you're making it to fit before you make the entire hat. So while you're making the first few rounds, particularly of this hat, you can measure as you go and make sure that you can make adjustments so that it will fit the way that you want it to. So that's one of the tips that I have here. That, I mean, it's things like this that made me want to share patterns like this. Because again, I don't want you guys to just make a sun hat. I mean, I do, right? But I want you guys to learn some things like how to make and measure your hats as you go so that you can make things that fit and you know that they're going to fit. Let's see, if you want to see other hat patterns, if you're like, I like the American Crochet Association, I like the way this pattern is laid out, what else you got? I do have other, not only sun hats, but hats. So I have listed those here so you can quickly and easily find them. So far on our website, I've shared 3 sun hat patterns. This is just one of them. So there's other ones. And then I'm also sharing a tam that hopefully you guys will like. It's kind of in that same vibe of these sun hats, right? Okay, so how to make a Jade Crochet Sun Hat. I tell you guys all about the yarn that I used, why I used that yarn. Also, if you guys want to understand how to substitute yarn for this pattern or any other, I've got some tips that are very helpful. It'll walk you through the process and the methodology in a non-complicated way, and that way you can just understand what you're doing and not just guess and give up. If you want my recommendations on other yarns you can use, again, you guys can come on over to Ravelry and see how other yarns have worked up. You can actually see those finished projects with those yarns. Or you can get my recommendations right here. I've listed them out. Here are all the materials. So the hook size, measuring tape, scissors, yarn, needle. Whenever something is this color blue, it's going to lead you to a reader. So I have already done all of that legwork. So if you want to find these materials, you guys can just click on that and find it. Gauge listed, size listed. This pattern comes in different sizes. So in terms of circumference around the head, 18, 20, 22, and 24 round, and then tall. So the overall length is all the way from 8 to 10 inches. I stitch key for this, so there are abbreviations used, of course, to condense the dimensions, but every abbreviation that I have listed here, and I've got a video tutorial for each one of these. So if you're still learning, if you're not sure if you can complete this pattern because maybe you're still working some things out, I've got a video tutorial to walk you through each one of those stitches here. In terms of specialty stitches and techniques, there are some more complex stitch combinations here, and I don't want you guys to get confused about what you're doing and where these stitches go. So I do have some tips in an article that walk you through where do stitches go in crochet, all the places and spaces to put your hook. So if you're ever confused about, like, does a chain count as a stitch? Where is this my first stitch? Is that my first stitch? What am I doing? Should I use a stitch marker? This will get you sorted. I do use the adjustable loop here. I mean, there are other ways you can start this. You can absolutely substitute the adjustable loop if you want to. But if you want to see a video tutorial on how to work this, it's right here. It's right there. Okay, something that I love doing with patterns that I share on the American Crochet Association website is, and this is not something that I do in my printed or my PDF patterns, but every section of the patterns not only has the row or round number, like this is round 1, it's the right side, that's old. It ends with a stitch count, but I also have these, I have each one of them separated by a bullet point. And that way you can clearly and quickly and easily see no matter what device you're looking from. I'm looking from a desktop right now. Doesn't matter if you're looking from a desktop or a tablet or a smartphone. It's just going to help you to quickly identify and see, in addition to the round or row numbers, that there's a bullet point that you can kind of go from one piece of instruction to the next. So that's something kind of new and different that I've been doing as I update these patterns. Also, all the sections are completely tabbed out, and that's something that you can find in the table of contents. So if you just want to get straight to the instructions, and you want to get straight to the instructions for a particular size, they are all sectioned out. So 18 inches, here they are, 20 inches, there they are, so on and so forth. So that's it, guys. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward crochet sun hat pattern, oldie but a goodie. This one made the cover of a crochet magazine whenever I first published it, and I used almost 10 years ago, is still available. Lion Brand 24/7 is one of my absolute favorite cotton yarns. I think it's absolutely perfectly for something like this sun hat because it has a beautiful weight to it. It feels fantastic, and it just, you can't tell by this picture where it can be really soft and smooth like this, but it also can have those nice ripples in it. And I kind of like those whenever, you know, it comes to wearing a sun, because I want it to have just a little bit of movement. I don't want it to just lay on my face blanket. I want it to have a little bit of stiffness, but I want that stiffness to have a little bit of movement. Does that make sense? Like, there's a balance, and I just feel like 24/7 cotton really nailed it for me. All right, guys, any questions, comments, feedback before I let you guys get to this hat? Let's see. It looks like Roseanne is here. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Dawn is here. Hi, Selena. Waving to you too, Dawn. So good to see you. All right. And this is a question I asked earlier. I said, have you ever crocheted a hat way too big or way too small? Ashley said, yes. Stacy Till raising her hands. Dawn raising her hands. Roseanne says, yes, I have way too big. I think that it's a really easy mistake to make. Again, you could be doing everything that you think you do to make something. You could be using the same yarn and hook size, and you could still make an entire hat and go, why is this way too big? Why is this way too small? Whenever we're crocheting things that just have an inch or two of difference, your fabric that you're crocheting can make all the difference. So if you don't read anything else, if you don't do anything else, please click on over and at least read this. And there's a lot of great information here that will help you, again, not only make the perfect Jade Crochet Sun Hat, but will help you to make and measure any crochet hat, especially ones that are worked top down and joined rounds, or rounds, doesn't have to be joined. So definitely check this out, give it a read, let me know what you think. If you guys do complete this pattern, if you guys do make a Jade Sun Hat, I would absolutely love to see. So please post your projects to Ravelry. I've got all the links and the tutorials for you guys to do that. And definitely come on over to our community. It's free on Facebook. It is linked at the bottom of this post here. Share your finished project because I would absolutely love to see. And that's exactly the kind of thing we like to see in our community. So we want to see your crochet projects, especially whenever you complete patterns from our site. I hope you guys love the Jade Sun Hat. I would love to see your finished projects. Comments, feedback are always welcome, so let me know. If you guys dug this video, if you dig the American Crochet Association, if you like this hat, tag a crochet friend in the comments, share this video in all the places that you love crochet if you think they'll dig this too. I'd really appreciate it. All right, everybody, enjoy. Peace, love, crochet. See you next time. Bye-bye.